Welcome back. Time is 3:39. You with me, Martin Daubney, on GB News. Now, the Reform UK leader Nigel Farage has set his sights on seizing control of 6 London councils next year. Now, in May, all 32 London boroughs will contest at the polls, including across the Reform-leaning outer belt and Kent. Now, Reform UK is hoping it has a golden chance, they claim, of helping to topple Sir Sadiq Khan as London's mayor, maybe in 2028. Well, they got their sights set on Sadiq Khan.
If you thought the London mayoral race was a settled affair of cycle lanes and ULEZ cameras, think again. Nigel Farage has just entered the conversation, and he has not come for a polite debate. He has arrived with a political sledgehammer. The Reform UK leader is preparing for what he calls a political earthquake ahead of the 2026 local elections, with a direct focus on 6 London councils that have long been treated as untouchable Labour strongholds. While Sadiq Khan points to a record
Let me tell you why this is a diversion, why we're not having a proper debate. So Khan there, accusing Anderson of being anti-Muslim, Islamophobic, racist, that's the same mayor of London, the very same mayor of London, who didn't say a word about what happened in Parliament Square last week, didn't say a word about from the river to the sea being projected onto Big Ben. And I'm not going to say that the way Lee Anderson put his words was necessarily the brightest use of English, but Mr. Khan, if you're worried about racism, if you're worried about discrimination, what about what's being said to Jews in London, the city that you're the mayor of? What about those scenes in Parliament Square last week? I'm waiting to hear you say something.
Describes as successful. Farage is pointing to the sirens, the closed police stations, and the rise in phone snatching, branding the capital as a place where criminals feel far too comfortable. This is the ultimate showdown. The man known as Mr. Brexit versus the mayor who turned London into a Remain stronghold. This is not just a campaign. It is a direct assault on the existing order. Quick favor. If you're enjoying this, hit that subscribe button. Over 92% of viewers haven't yet. It's free, takes a second, and genuinely helps us. Thanks if you did. Now, back to the story. For years, the accepted view in Westminster was that Nigel Farage and London simply did not mix. The capital is younger, more diverse, and voted overwhelmingly to stay in the European Union. But heading into January 2026, Farage is throwing that rule book straight into the river. He has confirmed that Reform UK is going all in, targeting 6 key London councils in the May 2026 local elections. The target list is carefully chosen. Conservative-held Bromley and Bexley, the independently run Havering Council, and the Labour heartlands of Barking and Dagenham. Farage's thinking is simple. He believes everything changed after the 2024 general election. In his view, Labour's vote in London is no longer a solid bloc, but something that is slowly breaking apart. He points to the rise of Zach Polanski's Green Party, which has more than doubled its membership this year, alongside the emergence of Gaza-focused independents and Jeremy Corbyn's new political movement. Farage says he can smell blood in the water. Speaking to the Daily Mail, he argued that Labour is about to see its vote split in multiple directions. The comparison fits. Labour is trying to hold together a vase that has already shattered, while Farage stands nearby pointing out the cracks, broom in hand. The strategy is a midterm-style attack. Farage is comparing the 2026 local elections to American midterms, where the party in power often takes a serious hit. By focusing on outer London boroughs like Havering and Barking and Dagenham, Reform UK hopes to tap into voters who feel left behind. These are residents who believe the mayor's priorities, especially on ULEZ and housing, have ignored their daily struggles. It is a bold push into territory that has traditionally been off-limits for parties led by Farage. But if he manages to flip even 2 of these councils, the political map of London could change overnight. And then there is crime, the issue Farage believes cuts through everything else. He has launched a fierce attack on Sadiq Khan's record, warning that the city is in big trouble. It is a blunt message, but one that lands with anyone who has walked through parts of central London late at night. Farage claims crime is now everywhere and says the mayor's record shows a lack of real urgency. He highlights a striking figure. 87% of London's police stations were closed under previous governments, and he argues that Khan has failed to reverse that decline or properly confront its impact. Farage did not stop at numbers. He made it personal. He said he does not know anyone in London who has not been affected by crime. To underline the point, he shared the story of a family member whose mobile phone was stolen. Even though the phone had a tracking device, the police allegedly took no action. This, Farage argues, is what happens when everyday crime is allowed to slide. Ignore phone, snatching and shoplifting, and more serious crimes soon follows. In his view, that is exactly where London is heading, and he is betting that millions of voters now agree with him. Farage is promising a radical shift in how everyday crime is dealt with, moving away from a system where police often appear uninterested in anything that does not involve serious violence or dramatic chase. He argues that low-level crime has been allowed to spiral because it is treated as unimportant, and he says that approach has to end. The numbers fuel that frustration. In the year up to March 2025, more than 530,000 shoplifting cases were officially reported across England and Wales, the highest total since 2003. In London alone, the British Retail Consortium believes the real figure nationwide could be closer to 20 million incidents a year. Despite that scale, only around 18% of reported shoplifting cases result in a charge. Farage's response is blunt and uncompromising. Every shoplifting case should be prosecuted. Every single one. It is a zero-tolerance stance, openly inspired by Rudy Giuliani's New York in the 1990s. Farage says he wants to take what he describes as a dangerous city and turn it into one of the safest in the world, and he believes Sadiq Khan stands in the way of that ambition. City Hall, however, is pushing back hard. A spokesperson for Sadiq Khan has rejected Farage's claims, responding with a wave of official statistics. They say there were 22,000 fewer offences across London in the past year. According to the mayor's office, burglary, personal robbery, and vehicle crime are all down, while gun crime and violence causing injury have also fallen. Their line is that Farage is one of many politicians and commentators who, in their words, talk London down and damage its reputation. It has become a familiar battle of numbers versus lived experience. City Hall says the Metropolitan Police has received record levels of funding. Farage says that despite the spending, ordinary people feel less safe than ever. The truth likely sits somewhere between those two claims. But in politics, perception often matters more than carefully verified figures. When think tanks like Policy Exchange report that only 1 in 20 robberies in London is solved, claims of record investment can sound hollow to people who feel exposed and ignored. The mayor's office accepts that more work remains to be done, but it is relying on the Met's efforts to carry Labour through the 2026 local elections. Farage, by contrast, is betting that Londoners are tired of being told crime is falling while being warned not to wear expensive watches in parts of the West End. It is a high-risk gamble on public mood. If people feel safer, Khan benefits. If they feel trapped in a city where small crimes go unchecked, Farage promised earthquake starts to look possible. Farage also argues that the wider debate is being deliberately derailed. He points to Sadiq Khan accusing figures like Lee Anderson of racism and Islamophobia, while, in his view, staying silent on other serious incidents. He highlights the lack of comment from the mayor over events in Parliament Square, including controversial slogans projected near major landmarks. Farage says he is not defending careless language, but insists that if the mayor is serious about opposing hatred and discrimination, he should speak just as clearly about intimidation faced by Jewish communities in the city. He says the silence is telling, and he is still waiting for a clear response. Beyond crime, Farage believes the greatest danger for Labour is internal fragmentation. His claim that Labour's vote is badly split is backed by current polling trends. In central London, the Green Party under Zach Polanski is drawing away younger, environmentally focused voters who feel disillusioned with Keir Starmer's cautious economic approach. At the same time, Gaza-focused independent candidates have already cut deeply into Labour's support in boroughs like Newham, where the party's vote share dropped by more than 26 points in the last contest. There is also the looming presence of a potential new movement linked to Jeremy Corbyn, which could further weaken Labour's progressive base. In areas such as West Ham and Beckton, Independent candidates are already polling around 20%. This means that in the 2026 local elections, Labour may not just be fighting Reform UK from the right. It could be facing pressure from multiple directions on the left as well. If opposition to Labour is no longer concentrated in a single bloc, the route to victory for an outsider party like Reform UK becomes far more realistic. Farage's decision to frame the election like an American midterm is deliberate. It turns local council races into a wider judgment on the first 2 years of the Starmer government, and he is counting on voter frustration to do the rest. If the Labour vote really takes a hit, as Farage predicts, it won't just be because people have suddenly become Reform UK fans. It will be because the Labour stronghold has become so divided that it can no longer defend itself. The Gaza independence, the Green surge, and the Farage factor are all hitting London at the same time. It is a perfect storm for a prime minister and a mayor who thought they had the city under control. Shoplifting with impunity, the 20 million case crisis. Let's focus on shoplifting because it has become the symbol of the lawless London story. Farage's claim that people can now steal without consequence isn't just hype. It reflects a real problem in retail. With the British Retail Consortium estimating 20 million cases nationwide, and only 18% leading to a charge, it is a clear sign that policing priorities are off. For the average shop owner in Barking or Bromley, City Hall's record investment doesn't help when stock is being stolen every day. Farage's solution is straightforward. Prosecute every single case. Every single one. It's a simple, clear, tough policy that hits a chord with voters. It may be costly, but it addresses a basic sense of fairness. Why should law-abiding citizens pay while others get a free pass? By referencing Rudy Giuliani, Farage is signaling he wants to bring American-style toughness to London streets. He wants to prioritize victims over criminals. This is striking a chord in areas where prolific offenders are seen walking free almost half the time. This focus on law and order is the core of the Reform UK campaign. They aren't just talking about immigration anymore. They are talking about the most basic duty of any mayor, keeping people safe. If Farage can convince Londoners that Sadiq Khan has failed here, Labour's stronghold could crumble. The 2026 local elections will be the first real test of whether Farage's radical approach can break through in a city that has historically rejected him. Sadiq Khan is clearly worried. He has turned down an offer to debate Farage about London's crime levels. Instead, when Khan isn't blaming the far right, he is dodging questions. For example, about grooming gangs in London, his answers often avoid the core issue. Meanwhile, Farage continues to press on the problems that people actually experience on the streets, making this a battle of lived reality versus official statistics. The earthquake warning: what happens next? If Farage can trigger a political earthquake in the May 2026 local elections, it could reshape the capital's political map and set the stage for the 2028 mayoral race. It would show that no part of the UK is safe for the established parties. Whether people love him or hate him, Farage has a skill for finding grievances and turning them into a movement. In London, that grievance is crime. And Sadiq Khan is in the line of fire. Every precinct, every police station closure, every incident will be watched closely as the vote approaches. The broken windows theory is about to collide with the Labour fortress, and the result could define the future of the city. Will Khan's record investment save him, or will Farage's midterm-style assault bring the whole house down? Only the voters of Bromley, Bexley, and Barking will decide.